Yeah, what's up? What's going on, everybody? It's Super Dave back at it again with the PA Political Revolution podcast, and this time we have something a little bit different for you, right? We're going to give you a citizen's account. We have a special guest. We have a citizen that's going to go ahead and tell you what's everything that's been going on in Prince Hall, right? It appears that we
Yeah.
have some slumlord mess going on, and I'm going to call you Miss Nay, right? Can you go ahead and
Yeah.
kind of give us an opening, tell us a little bit about yourself, and kind of start on what seems to be the problem that you have having over there in Prince Hall,
Hi, how you doing? Good evening.
right?
Um, yes, I was exposed to mold in one of my apartments there in Prince Hall. Well, let's rewind. I've had three different units
Yeah,
in Prince Hall.
tell me how it started. Tell me when the first time when you
Okay,
had some issues, and kind of tell
okay,
me from there.
okay. I came back to Texas after I had a Hurricane Harvey catastrophe. I came back to Texas. I left Texas, came back to Texas, and I kind of stayed with my mom for like a couple of months. And so Prince Hall called me for an apartment. And so honestly, I was kind of reluctant about it, but I was like, oh no, I need my independence. So let me, I guess I'll go ahead and take the apartments. I've been going away from Port Arthur straight from high school. And my daddy is not from Port Arthur. So, I'm kind of a native of Houston and Port Arthur.
Right.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I took the apartment. My first apartment, I didn't know what I was getting into. My first apartment, it was an okay apartment. It was in the back, all the way in the back. And one day I went to visit my grandchildren. My grandchildren and my 28-year-old, they live in Houston, Texas. So I was out of town for about 3 or 4 days. I came back. I turned the key to my door, and it was a squatter in my apartment.
Oh,
The
damn.
deadbolt was on. Yeah. So she said, "Who is it?" Because she was a young girl. And I said, "The lady that lives here." So then she unlocked the deadbolt, and you could see all my clothes was trashed out and water poured on them. And I'm like, what is going on? So I was in shock at that point. And so I could hear the lady talking, and she's saying, "Ma'am, I didn't do any of this. I didn't do any of this. They told me it was cool. They told me, and I was just tired of walking the streets all night, and I just really needed to take a nap." And I'm like, man, this shit bogus. So, I, so anyway, I, so I'm looking around, so I immediately, the lady took flight. Okay.
Right.
After she told me, what she had to say. And I really believed her. Okay. Let me just say that, because who's going to break in your apartment and then open the door for you?
You
I
believe that?
mean,
Okay.
come on.
You believe somebody told us all right, she can come live in your apartment?
Right. I think somebody that had access to the master key let her in.
Okay.
Uh, I don't believe she came in through a window.
Right.
The crack was too small for anybody to climb in. Even a newborn baby couldn't get in there.
Right. Right.
So yeah, so I immediately went to the office, and I talked with the property manager, and she was just sitting there calm, cool, and collected. Oh, like she wasn't even excited. It was almost like she knew or something.
Right.
So I said, well, who the hell left her? I was kind of on 10. So she was like, well, I don't know. Let me round up the maintenance and call them. I said, well, don't you have maintenance that's supposed to be making their rounds through the apartments daily?
Right.
And they didn't see that crack window? And that's how I knew that the window, somebody threw something in their window real quick to stage it, to try to make it look like the young lady came in through the window. And I don't believe that was the case. I believe that it was I really don't know what it was. I just don't understand. I was at the point of trying to get on my feet then.
Right.
And yeah. And so, my grandfather used to always say, never kick a man when he down,
Right.
And yeah, and that brings tears to my eyes because, I just like, well, who want to do that to me? And I'm putting furniture in here. I mean, they trashed the place out.
Oh,
And
the
the
squatter.
apartment. The squatter didn't do anything. I don't believe she did anything. And I'm going to tell you why. I don't think she had a part in it. I think she was just somebody that was on drugs.
Right.
That wanted to lay her head down somewhere. And they told her it was cool, just like she said. And I think it was done already by the time she even got in there, And you know why? Because she was cleaning up, okay? She was cleaning up.
Okay.
She was washing dishes. She was sweeping. She was actually sitting on my bed. I have videos of this, of her stuff, her bag. She was even, she was reading a book. She was even reading a book.
Wow.
On my bed. Yeah, so across my bed. So she hurried up and left, I guess, because, she was scared, and
Oh, yeah.
you could tell she was scared. Yeah, and so, well, at least she was bold enough to at least open the door. So, and like I said, back to the property manager. I had just met the property manager, upon moving there, and everything was smooth between me and her, and I just started seeing a little crafty things, that, she kind of was showing me,
Right.
like she was kind of like that quiet, grimy, in my opinion.
Right.
Okay, this is just my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't dislike the property manager or have any kind of vendetta or anything and like that against her because I don't know her, but the way she handled the complaints of mine, I don't like. If I come to you as a tenant, and I'm telling you something serious that's going on, and you turn your face to it or you push it to the side, okay, like it has no bearing or it's not important, then I'm compelled, my back is against the wall to reach out to other entities, okay?
Right.
So here we go from the squatter situation. I called Southwest Multifamily in Austin, Texas. They are, for anybody that live in Prince Hall Apartments, if you have a problem, you call 888-842-4484. And you talk to these Southwest Housing, and they are connected with HUD. These are the people that disperse the checks to the best of my knowledge, but they open up a case to try to help, with your complaint if the property manager is not doing anything to help. Okay. Just want to get that out there to the people.
Okay. Was it this one incident and that's when you called HUD, or did it have some other instances with your apartment and that's what made you call
HUD? The final straw for me to contact Washington, D.C. was when I had the mold situation. And I was going to get to that really quick.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. You don't have to just tell us. I was just making sure you're going through the whole procedure of what's all of the things that happened, the water coming through the ceiling, the ceiling coming down, all of that. I just kind of wanted you to go, wanted you not to forget to go through all of that.
Oh, no, sir, not at all. No problem. Okay, and so from the squatter situation, I was Southwest Housing. Got with HUD because they contract with HUD. So they asked for me to be transferred to another apartment closer to the front, I guess. So I went in that apartment, and honestly, I was kind of scared to, furnish it like I did the one in the back because of how they tore up everything, And so
right.
I did put a little furniture in there, but I didn't deck it out, but I stayed in that apartment about 1.5 years, almost 2 years now, since 2022. And, everything was running pretty smooth. One day I came home, again, back in Houston, because I'm always back and forth. My 28-year-old graduated from college. and in May. And so that's when I started noticing the mold when I came back from the graduation in Houston, okay,
Right.
the college graduation. And so I seen the mold on the ceiling, and I seen the big old water stain, and I have these videos as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I seen that water stain. I said, I didn't know anything about carpentry, but I know this looks pretty bad, So days went by, and I said, wait a minute, this stuff is starting to grow. I mean, I would leave and come back to my apartment, and I'll see mold in another spot,
Right.
all on the baseboards. It started growing in the baseboards. Now, during this time, I'm telling the property manager of Prince Hall, I'm emailing her, I'm putting in maintenance work orders, I'm just telling her, hey, I think this is a problem, So she's basically ignoring it. And then the maintenance guy, he's never coming out, This basically went on this back and forth for probably nearly 3 months. Okay. The kitchen cabinets, mold, all on the kitchen cabinets. That's how bad it got. The smell was so loud. Water, it was all in the sheetrock, all on the ceilings. And so they told me, allegedly, a lady upstairs from me left her water running, and the water overflowed into my apartment. I really don't believe that at this point. I believe that the rooftops are damaged severely in Prince Hall, according to the state of Texas. They are not in compliance, and that is on formal record. And I think this is what's causing a lot of the water leaks, and the water is getting into the sheetrock, which is getting on the wiring.
Right.
And very hazardous situation, And so I did get my own hygienist to come in. It was deemed to be black mold in my apartment.
Right.
And at that point, I was advised, get out of there. You have to get out of here. You cannot keep inhaling this. This will make you sick, and this will possibly kill you. Okay. So I was like, okay. So again, the property manager didn't want to work with me. So I said, you know what? She don't give a damn about my life. I don't give a damn about her job. Okay.
Right.
I'm just being honest. That's how I felt. Okay.
Yeah,
so at this point, that's when I reached out to a guy in Washington, D.C. I was just calling numbers. I know I've called probably over 200 numbers because I'm real diligent about what I do, very adamant. So the guy, I was always in the wrong department, Right. So one of the guys, the video landed to some guy, and he called me, and he said, ma'am, you're not in the correct department. You need to be in the multifamily division. Multifamily is over Prince Hall, right. That division area. And so he got me to the right person, and he got the video to one of the region offices as well in Texas. And he was very disturbed. It even went all the way up to the director, okay, that run everything. So right. An investigation was called and is still ongoing as we speak.
Okay, so let me go ahead and interrupt you right there. So when you told the property manager, I guess the secretary or the property manager, whoever's in that office, right, what did they actually do? Did they bring you to a new apartment, or what did they do?
They didn't do anything. Nothing. She just kept saying she didn't believe it was black mold, and it was basically ignored. It kept falling on deaf ears.
Okay. Okay. This is after like the water coming through the roof.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if it's coming through the roof. I know it was coming from upstairs.
Upstairs. Okay. So was that the video where the water was coming through the ceiling or the roof or upstairs? Is that the one you're saying?
That's not that one. But I don't know if you have the one where you could see the mold on the kitchen cabinets and on the ceiling and Okay. That one, you could see a big water stain right in front by the bathroom. Okay. Um, where were we? Okay. So
So at that time, they didn't think it was black mold. They thought it was something else. At this time, when this happened, they didn't move you. That's what you're saying?
no,
Okay.
they did not.
Okay. Go ahead.
Okay. Okay. And so HUD was contacted, and of course they have to contact the subcontractor, Southwest Multifamily, and let them know as well. They have to open up a ticket. So that's when the transfer came about, when the director's office spoke. So they transferred me to this unit right now, mid-July. I go in, I sign the paperwork for the transfer, and I'm going to say the next week I come back to the ceiling collapsed. Debris all on the floor. My lights killed. My lights down. I don't have lights.
Wow.
So I'm like, what is going on? And so I immediately contacted the Region HUD office, and I spoke with an investigator there as well, even though the investigation was still ongoing. So that's when the man from Washington, D.C. really was ticked off. And he told his team, get out to Prince Hall immediately. So when he told the team to get out to Prince Hall, they were there like within 48 hours. So the HUD was actually here in Port Arthur, Texas, about July 29th, July the 31st, around-ish, inspecting Prince Hall. And the investigation is ongoing. They're not only investigating my concerns, they're investigating other matters as well that's going on that I really don't know about. And that actually was told to me. They told me the government cannot divulge that information to me or anyone, but they are investigating them for other things that's beyond me. Okay. So from there, I felt like someone should have at least called me. Then no one called me. They didn't call my emergency contact and say, hey, we had to turn your power down because your ceiling is wet in the attic because the ceiling collapsed.
Right.
In the dining room area. It collapsed in the dining room area. And they just didn't have any tenacity to do any of it. So it kind of been a hostile environment, because I'm not going to lie, I've already taken a loss.
Yes.
So for me to take 2 losses, I've lost furniture. I need a whole GoFundMe page.
Right.
I'm joking, but yeah, I
can imagine.
I lost clothes. Mold spread it all over my clothes, and I like nice things. I like to dress nice, and I have to throw all my stuff out because of poor management. And all this name dropping and things like that, or who people know and all that is irrelevant to the fact. It's moot, because we're here as citizens, law-abiding citizens at that. Whether you're a taxpayer or whether you don't do anything, whatever, we are all human. Okay. When they put on those flags on their left arm, it's supposed to be to serve and protect. Not to serve and protect for who you know. Not to serve and protect because I like this person better than I like this person. That's not what our law and our government should be about. It should be equal justice for everybody, civil or criminally. Okay? And this town, in my opinion, has it bad. When somebody doesn't like somebody or they know something bad about someone, they don't want to hear what they have to say, or they mute their voices out. I've reached out to people and it was like, well, we don't have any jurisdiction over Prince Hall. I'm not saying that's not
now let me go ahead and stop you right there, right? When you say that you reached
okay.
out, you don't really have to say the person's name if you want to. Bro, you're talking about city departments, city officials, police, um, the neighbor. Like, who did you don't have to say their name because could you?
Locally, no, who locally I reached out to.
Yes.
I reached out to two city council members.
Mm-hmm.
Um, one of them,
Now,
he
now,
seemed like he was trying. He was a little concerned.
now you don't have to say their
Uh,
names. You don't have to say their names. Yeah, go ahead.
okay,
You can.
well, but yeah, one of them, he seemed like he was a little concerned.
Mm-hmm.
And the other one got something done. I made sure that this certain department went on the grounds to take a look at the damages.
Okay.
But they did say they didn't have any jurisdiction over Prince Hall. Allegedly, Prince Hall is a privately owned property. But at the end of the day, whether it's privately owned or not, that's a part of our city.
Okay, when you say
It's within our city limits.
when you say jurisdiction, are you talking about a city department that has I can go ahead and say, we're not talking about nobody. Um are you talking about like a code enforcement or a health department, something like that?
Right. They're saying that they don't have any, they didn't have any jurisdiction.
Okay. Okay.
And the young man, he was kind of treated poorly when he did go out there as a courtesy. He was
gotcha.
he was treated a little poorly. I really think, they kind of were intimidated, by the on site, staff, and maybe they just kind of didn't want to, overstep their boundaries or anything like that. And I get that.
Right,
So
right.
I mean, yeah, at this point, it's safe to say that the government, who is within jurisdiction to handle all buildings, should just continue on doing the investigation. And that's maybe the way that it should be done, without anyone having to get in any kind of trouble for overstepping their boundaries.
Right, right. Now, let me go ahead and ask you this question, right? Did you if you did, right, did you bring up to any issues to the housing board? Because I know the housing board, they're responsible for, if I'm not mistaken, right, they're allocating some of the money to these or directing some of the money to some of these apartments. Now, did you ever talk to either the housing board or the housing director?
No, the housing authority, they don't have any jurisdiction either. Those apartments are solely through multifamily HUD. They are not
Okay.
with Port Arthur Housing.
Oh, they're not with the.
They
Okay,
have
not
no
with the housing.
oversight.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, they don't have oversight over them. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So, oh yeah, and also I did speak with code enforcement.
Mm-hmm.
Now they came out and took pictures of certain things that wasn't in compliance. To the best of my knowledge, Prince Hall was found not in compliance with them as well because of certain things that was found, not in only my apartment, but another tenant's apartment. This particular tenant had an issue inside of her wall, where it looked like the socket or the wires were smoking or something, and she had to call the fire department. And I believe I supplied you with that video.
Right.
She had to call the fire department to come in and put that out, because before that started the electrical. She also had kind of the same situation that I had. She had water pouring into her apartment. Hers was a little bit, to me, worse. And her mold was so bad, it looked like plants on a tree, like in a yard. It was gone. It was hanging down. And so she provided me with that video, and I sent it to HUD as well.
Now, Now,
It's pretty bad.
now, one thing I would say that one of the if one of the council members would do it right, if they wanted to do it right. Well, I do know that Council Member Lewis, he's been saying something about a nuisance ordinance, and I know he's been talking about that with I, he may have been talking about it with Prince Hall. I know he's been talking about it with Lewis Manor, but normally where his focus was one of those apartments that have any type of safety issues like with the shooting or whatnot. And I'm sure this would apply to safety issues that they could actually do something as far as like a nuisance ordinance. I know like Mr. Lewis, he was the only one that was talking about it. So that may be an avenue that you can go or talk to him about to see if he's interested in trying to pursue a nuisance ordinance against that. If you're continuing to have any problems on there, and also I would say one major thing that you can do right now would be something called repair and remedy. Anytime that you have
Hmm.
an issue, you can go to the JP's court, Judge Joe Guillory, and talk to whoever, secretary or somebody, and get one of them forms out there and ask them how, they would need to go by it. I'm pretty sure they can give you some information on how to, to fill it out, and you can put that landlord hold his feet to the fire. And with all the information you've got, I know you've sent me a lot of information. So, with all of this stuff going on, and you and other people that's out there that seem to be, kind of want something to go on and kind of being scared, like they can't once you fill it out, they can't actually evict you. Now the only thing just have to be you and anybody else. I've heard it's being said that make sure you're up to date and paying your rent and stuff like that. So, but as long as you got that covered, you should be able to take some action. You or any other citizen could take some action if they're
Well,
feeling.
it's more than two. It's more than two
Right, right.
people that's willing to speak out.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
So that yeah, and so I am planning on moving once the contract is up.
Right,
But I decided to do this interview with you because I look at the little children
right,
out there playing, and they don't know any better. Like these are innocent kids that have to be subjected, some of them, not all of them, but to maybe these type of living conditions. And the other tenant that told me about her situation and actually showed me and actually presented her information to the government. um, she has like three kids or two or
right.
three little kids. And I know you've seen the videos, like
Mm-hmm.
in the condition of that apartment, and she was forced to move, same situation, forced to live in the apartment without being able to transfer or going in-house on site and being able to have a civil conversation with the property manager and saying, hey, this is going on. She, she was denied just like I was. And
Right,
so she told me the transgressions. The lady said the sheetrock fell on her shoulder. Her shoulder was dislocated. She had to go to the hospital for that. She said then one of the kids had to go to Texas Children's Hospital because they were having breathing problems, and she was too, because of how strong the mold was inside the apartment, and also the flooding and stuff. They had to go through and live like that for months. And she said everybody she called, she couldn't even get any kind of recourse. um, so I don't know who all she called. I'm just
right.
saying what she told me.
And I'm
And
and I'm
go
saying,
ahead.
and I'm just saying, for you and anybody else that's listening to this, right? You can have some
Hmm.
recourse directly with the justice of the peace, right? And that's one thing I was adamant with when Joe Giller was running against Brandon Barty, uh, the mayor's son. I already
Hmm.
knew that that was going to be like a network of corruption, in my opinion, right? So that's why I'm glad because they had relationships with the previous JP,
Hmm.
Deron, and they had they was all connected like to some of these the apartment developers, right, to what the ag barriers or
Mm-hmm.
whatnot, the Chris and Ike ag barriers. So there's been a long, in
Mm-hmm.
my opinion, right, there's been a long issue of these these property, these slumlords in cahoots with politicians, right? So politicians
Mm-hmm.
and justice of the peace. So whenever there's an issue, a lot of the
Mm-hmm.
times in my opinion, right, the property owners have a lot of these judges and these politicians in their pockets. So they kind of control the narrative whenever somebody goes up there. But now you have somebody that's going to call it down the middle. Who's ever right? If
Mm-hmm.
the citizen's right or the property owner's right, Mr. Gilroy, he's going to call it on by the truth and
Mm-hmm.
by the facts. So like I'm just saying, I'm
Okay.
telling you, your friends or anybody else, I don't even think they can think they have a. You may not have to pay. You can go up there and file indigent or whatnot and get that case on. I think you have to let it be known. Officially send them a letter, say, hey, this is what's you need. It's like a demand letter, but they can kind of the person in the office, they can kind of tell you pretty much what's going on and how to actually do that. And if I'm not mistaken, you can actually terminate your lease. You don't really have to stay there in this unsafe conditions, right? I looked on it with the codes, but they can kind of somebody in the office may be able to help you with that or help you find the information, or anybody else that
Mm-hmm.
that has this concern can kind of look it up and they can kind of like point you in information where you can actually terminate your lease and go somewhere else due to the safety, right? And also, if I'm not mistaken, again, if you going with the JP, if they do any type of retaliation to you, there can be punitive damages, right? You can actually get compensated for this. So you or anybody else, you can actually get paid from the developer for your inconvenience, your unsafety. So it's a lot of things that people don't know and what they've kind of kept from us, because the majority of times people think that people's living in low income houses. I lived in low income houses not too long ago. A lot of times people
Mm-hmm.
think that people are poor, don't have the money,
Right.
too scared, not
Right.
going to fight. So it's very imperative that people know, regardless of your income status, is that you should fight, to be treated like a human being. So that's kind of
Well,
what I
I
was
want to
wanting to let
match
everybody.
pause.
Hmm.
No, I was just going to match pause with you to say I've heard the statement, for the ones that could potentially speak out, and even the other tenant that has spoken out. The statement was made, um, you know, oh well, we're going to lose our place to stay. We're going to this and that, and HUD did advise it will be no retaliation
Right.
whatsoever.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. So, but I keep stressing that, hey, y'all don't have to worry about any retaliation or being
Hmm.
evicted, because if you get evicted, that's
Right.
a sign of retaliation. So
Yeah.
then at the end of the day, then somebody's going to be held accountable. So, you have the government eyes all over that property, okay, because of people living in hazardous conditions. The mailboxes was vandalized or always are being vandalized.
Right.
The post office doesn't even want to go out there anymore.
Hmm.
It's like, my mailbox was vandalized. I don't know for what, because I don't
Right.
even use that mailbox address, but I PO box. But okay.
Hmm.
However, um, I called the post office and they told me we're not going back out there and fix those mailboxes. We're tired. That lady doesn't do anything but keep allowing it to happen. So
Right.
why would she? We have to keep going out there and fixing the mailboxes. So I was like, okay, well, I'm done with that program. So, um, you know, um, yeah, I just wanted to say that. But it's a lot that's been going on. One thing, when you think you get one situation settled, here we go with something else. That's
Right.
the thing. That's the issue that I have with this property manager. The assistant under her, now I got to give her a little credit, okay?
Right.
When I went in the office, the times I went in there to do the maintenance orders, work orders, she did try to get on the uh, radio, and called the maintenance guy. But he
Mm-hmm.
just took his precious time to go into that apartment. And then when he did go in, after about 2 months, he waited. He cut a hole in the ceiling by the bathroom area and
Right.
exposed it and made it grow like that. And ironically, the AC went out around the same time.
Right.
And then, yeah, and then the mold really started growing. That's how it got all on my clothes, my mattresses. That was a 2-bedroom apartment. So one bedroom had an air mattress in there. The other bedroom had my bedroom set, the regular beds,
Right.
in there. And then I had leather furniture, in the front. And, and so mold kind of got on. It was really bad. It was bad. I mean, like, it was to the point when you get to the door, you could smell it,
Right. Yes.
it was bad. Yeah. And so I was just like, I don't know. I don't even trust them to terminate my lease,
Right. Right.
you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
yeah,
That's kind
because
of. I mean, it's something that you can actually do it, but like I said, that was some on the information what I looked up on repair and remedy, and that's what everybody needs to look up: repair and remedy. That's where you can get a lot of legal recourse from your justice of the peace, where you don't have to pay for an attorney to go ahead and to do it. And understand what I'm saying. It is not legal advice. I am not an attorney, and I'm not giving legal advice. I'm just giving my
right,
opinion on stuff. So I just wanted to kind of put that disclaimer out there too. So
right.
yeah, ultimately, I would say for you or anybody else that's in that situation, similar situation, the recourses would be, those that apply to pull off the housing. I would go to the housing pull off the housing authority board members, talk to them, talk to the director, go on up to the mayor, right? The mayor actually
I called the
puts
mayor's office. Yeah,
right.
I called his office, and I spoke with the secretary. I never spoke with him.
Right.
And but she did say that he asked for the health department or whoever in the city to stand down because HUD was conducting an investigation. But however, um, I've never known entities to cross jurisdiction. The city is not going to cross county. The county is not going to cross state, and the state's not going to cross the feds or the government. So, I
Right.
mean, I don't understand. Yes, I mean, I do have a college degree, 2 of them. So I'm just, I've never. It's 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 our city. He runs the city. So why should people have to stand? I don't even know this man from an apple on the tree, so I'm
Right.
not trying to talk bad about him.
Yeah, yeah.
But why should anybody have to stand down when this is going on in your city?
Right.
Okay.
Right. And I want to kind of agree with you on that. Yeah, it's the health department. So, yeah, you could regardless of who's uh doing investigation, you can still do what you have to do for a city, right?
That's right.
And the mayor does not run the city. I know a lot of people think that, and he tries to portray that, right? But this is a council manager form of government, right? Actually, the city manager is the one that's responsible for the day to day operations, and the council they work as a unit by voting, right? And the only
Hmm.
thing the mayor does, right? The only time that he has some authority is during an emergency management situation, right? During a hurricane, he's emergency manager. Kind of the idea is to expedite different things or different contracts whenever it needs to be cleaned up or some things like that. So instead
Okay.
of calling it, but that's the only time that the mayor's position has any type of authority. And he's just like a figurehead, right? If there's like a ribbon cutting ceremony, he just goes there, representing the city. But that's about all the actual power that he has. But this council isn't ran how it's supposed to be ran, but that's a whole totally another different subject.
Well, I don't really know many people on the board. like I said, I talked to two of them. One of them, he he gave me a whole session
Right.
for like 2 hours. I stayed on the phone with one of them, and he was just telling me how to approach this and how to approach that, and then I talked to the other one, and the other one, assisted with getting the health department out, and then that was kind of the end of me and that council member's, connection. And then when the building inspectors came out, it was one that came out, and they also went into the other tenant's apartment as well. Matter of fact, day before yesterday, and they seen where how bad it really was in her apartment.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't know what they're going to do with the information, but they have it, and so like I told you, the state as well. I don't think Prince Hall has had an inspection in about 4 years.
Right.
And yeah, from what I'm understanding and from what I got from the state of Texas this morning, she gave me about 4 different rooftops out there that are damaged. No, I think it was about 6, if not more. She said they are damaged and they're not in compliance. And so buildings are needing new rooftops, the entire rooftops replaced. This is probably what's causing a lot of mold and water leaks, etc.
Right. Yeah, that's a good
Yeah.
possibility.
And so the owner of Prince Hall is Zybin, a guy named Zybin, and the junior owner is Cameron County Finance Corporation in Brownsville, Texas. They are the junior partner, Mr. Yates. Mr. Yates is he's over the land, and Mr. Lee Zybin is over the building in Houston, Texas. He has his company. He took over the company when his father passed away. Well, he is the owner, and they work with the management team, which is Capstone Management, out of Houston, Texas. But he's the owner, and it's a lot of things that he really don't know. I believe that he's being told things, because you have to understand this man is probably worth every bit of 6 figures.
Right.
And he's probably being told a lot of allegations just, so people can maybe keep their job or whatever. And he emailed me probably 3 weeks ago, and he copied some people from HUD in the email, and he came at me. I ain't gonna lie, he came at me sideways.
Right.
So, he was just like, what are you trying to do? Are you trying to build a case? Why are you calling HUD? You calling inspectors? First of all, it's my right, my tenant right, to call anybody I want to call. I done lost my clothes. Don't make me come out of myself right about now, because I done lost my damn clothes and my furniture, and it's almost like I got hit by a hurricane, and you got your staff sitting up in the office like they don't give a damn about nothing and nobody. And at the end of the day, you want to get on the email and try to disgrace me because HUD has an investigation on your property. I'm not even going to tell you what my reply was with HUD copied in it, okay? Don't come for me. What he should have been doing was apologizing for what happened to my shit. Then don't tell me, oh, you and the property manager must have something, or y'all don't get along, or it's a vendetta. I say vendetta. I don't even know the woman to have a vendetta. I got a goddamn vendetta with my clothes, okay, that I lost. I do have a lot of clothes that's in the trash can right now. My furniture that I paid for. That's what I got a vendetta with that. At the end of the day, those are his apartments that he ain't keeping up. So he's not putting out the money. They're doing Band-Aid jobs, painting over, look like they painting over mold. not getting the mold remediator to go in and gut the apartments. You have to gut that stuff out of there. You have to treat that stuff.
Right, yeah.
You know, so he was told by HUD, you know, do not disrespect the tenant that way, or anybody for that nature, you know, that's
right.
just trying to exercise their rights, you know, and he basically tried to intimidate me for exercising my rights. That's the Office of Inspector General matter.
Right.
That probably will be taken care of on a higher level, because I'm not finna play with him. You're gonna disrespect me when I'm calling for your mercy, or I'm trying to get in touch with you for your mercy, but you could tell me what you heard from this one and that one that work under you. Of course, they're going to say things to try to protect their job. That's a given. At the end of the day, think of yourself as me, the tenant, who has taken this loss for the second time.
Right, yeah, oh yeah, you're absolutely right. Oh, and I want to finish what I was saying, but I kind of forgotten.
I'm sorry about that.
No, it's no problem, no problem.
Sorry.
When if it applies to you, like the mayor, the position of the mayor, he or she, right, whoever's in the mayor's seat, they appoint the housing director, the housing board members, right, the Port Arthur Housing Authority board members. So that's another, opportunity. If the board member or the director can't do anything, you can always talk to the mayor. And since the mayor appoints them, right, he should be able to talk to them and, hey, put some pressure on them, or what, right? Or maybe need to change some new housing directors, right? So be that's one option. But I say ultimately, the final option.
Who is the housing director?
Oh, I forgot. I know the guy named Casada. I think they left, but I forgot who is it right now. I can't think of the person directly. The actual name of the person. I think it's somebody new, but I think Casada's gone or whatever. That's from what I understand. I don't know for sure.
Okay.
And for anybody out there, the last authority would be, or if you want to get something done, this is it, right? You can go get you a civil lawsuit at the Justice of the Peace. You, if I understand, you wouldn't have to pay anything, and you can file as indigent, and it'll waive that little filing fee or whatever they charge, and boom, that's it. Then you can try to take, your life back in your hands, and that would be, the ultimate thing. And also, and you can, of course, this is not legal advice. You can go ahead and terminate your lease. I would, look at the repair and remedy rules up and kind of, go off of that, and see what the process is as far as terminating your own lease due to the safety issues. And that right there would be, I would say, the best way to deal with this issue. I'm going to go ahead and kind of pretty much wrap it up. Ma'am, you have something, the last words you want to give out to the citizens about, what you've been through and what you want to give them your parting words?
Yeah. I want to say this to anybody that's going to listen to this podcast. I don't care if you live in Prince Hall. I don't care if you don't live in Prince Hall. Know this. Know who you are. And we all belong to Jesus Christ. And Christ sees it all. Do not ever be afraid to take a stance against from what you witness that is wrong. Ever. Don't ever let anybody mute your voice when you can speak out and make a difference. That's what I have to say. God bless you all.
Oh, okay. I know that's right. And again, I would say, everybody that's listening, let's go ahead and share this video, like it, subscribe to the YouTube page. And for everybody, thank y'all for listening to me, Super Dave, with the PA Political Revolution Podcast. And to the next time, peace.
I like that.